Well, sweet, yes, definitely. And the beeswax, yeah, the beeswax is there. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we have a very rare bottle here in my cask. It's a Strathisla, 1965, bottled 2015, 43% ABV, and it's a huge 50 years old. What have you done 50 years before? Well, those old whiskies typically have a massive influence from the wood they matured in. Typically people say when a whiskey has 10 years of age, then the distillery character and the character from the cask match. They have a 50-50 equality. When the whiskey matures longer, then the cask takes over. 12 years still okay, 15 years still okay, 18 years still okay, 21 years, well, the cask might be dominant. 30 years of age, definitely it's dominant. And 50 years of age, ooh, you can hardly taste reminiscence of the distillery character. Most is the cask. So it depends which cask you have. If you had a refill cask, then it might be difficult because all those tannins and bitterness will dominate the whiskey. But here we have first fill sherry butts, and these first fill sherry butts contain sherry, and this will bring a somewhat sweet and fruity character in the whiskey. It will be, well, not that distinguishable, but it will be still there a little bit at least. So the cask has the main influence. Cask from 50 years ago, sherry casks were typically made of European wood. That means a hefty spiciness and some bitterness in the aftertaste. I opened the bottle just before and had a sniff at the cork already. So it's really dark. It carries all the pigments from the sherry wine as well as the pigments from the oxidized wood sugars, the caramel, and all that together brings this brownish, reddish color in this whiskey, as well as the aromas coming with. There is a description on the back of the bottle. Strathisla, distilled in 1965. Strathisla was founded in 1786, so a distillery from the 18th century, but was originally known as Milton Distillery, named after the nearby Milton Castle. Where in Scotland is no old ruin or castle. There is an old copper print where you can see this Milton Distillery. Strathisla was the name of the actual whiskey produced, and eventually it became the name of the distillery. This whiskey is sweet and fresh with hints of beeswax, ripe gooseberries and anise seed. On the palate, creamy with toffee, ripe summer fruits and a subtle hint of charred wood. Fresh. So fresh is relative. This whiskey is old, this whiskey is fully oxidized, and fresh, well, sweet, yes, definitely. And the beeswax, yeah, the beeswax is there, and it remembers me candles, Christmas candles, originally beeswax candles. And those gooseberries, we picked them as childs, and they were always not ripe enough and always quite sour. And there were those spikes on it. So I don't have a really good remembrance of ripe gooseberries, but I do not find any gooseberry in this. But the anise seed in the distance, yes, it's not dominant in the distance, little anise seed. Fruitiness is there from the sherry, definitely sherry, a lot of sherry. But the oak is dominant. European oak, spiciness, yeah. Oh, extremely strong and spicy on your tongue, but no alcoholic sharpness. It's only 43% ABV. So it's the cask. Oakiness, definitely. Little toffee, not too sweet, no. In the meantime, the sweetness from the nose is gone, and it's spiciness, but a little creamy. And oak. And the oak is not too bitter. More spicy than bitter. There's a little bitterness in the back, and the aftertaste is long, very long. And in the end, and the spiciness vanishes, a little sweetness left. Fruits and sweet. A wonderful, hefty, intense dram. The beeswax still there. Sweet, fruitiness. The anise seed is gone. Whenever I read anise seed, I always have the fear to have some Pernod in this glass. But no, not at all. It's just a hint of anise seed. As much or that much that you're able to detect it and brings a little coolness in your nose. But not this sharp oiliness, etheric oils, no. Yeah, wonderful dram. Wonderful. And the price? Well, over 500. So the price from Gordon MacPhail for those old bottles is rising from delivery to delivery. 10% rise in a year, no problem. Twice a year, the prices are rising. And in a few years, there won't be any whiskey from the 1960s left. Then you have to switch over to the 1970s. But these ones are the very last, and the prices are already very, very high, and they're still rising. So if you're interested in a bottle from the 1960s, have a look that you have those first fill sherry casks. It's uncolored. You can see it's the original color that is that dark. There are a few bottles, very few bottles from Strathisla from the 60s on the market which are lighter, a lot lighter. Then you have to be aware that you will have more oakiness, more bitterness, and less sweetness and less fruitiness from the sherry. But also there the cask will be dominant. Yeah, that's it for today, and thank you for watching. Stay tuned, there's more to come, and feel free to leave your comments in our whiskey database, and subscribe to Twitter or Facebook to receive the newest publishing of my whiskies. Thank you very much.